Welcome to Celestial Dew, a space where we explore our inner world, where storytelling and spiritual tools deepen our connection to ourselves and the universe. My name is Rocio Celeste, and this is my soulmate and constant companion, Nuga Cosmico. We are here to share our experiences and open a space for insight and transformation. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin this journey inward. Today, we are diving into the sacred presence of Quan Yin, the embodiment of compassion, mercy, and divine feminine energy. This is the Quan Yin right here. Whether you're spiritually curious or actively seeking a deeper connection with divine guidance, Quan Yin offers wisdom and healing for everyone. So grab your tea, get comfortable, and let's explore the story, symbolism, and practices that can bring her grace into your life. I got this Quan Yin in China. I traveled in China for a while, and I had been connecting to the energy of Quan Yin in my meditations for a while before I went to China. And I knew that I wanted to bring a symbol of the Quan Yin with me to put on my altar and meditate. And I traveled in different provinces of China for a few weeks, and I never found one. I mean, I will find it like in little jade stones or like little necklaces, but that's not what I was looking for. What I was looking for was something more like this. And I could never find it until one day when I went to a Taoist temple. She was there in the shop, and I knew she was waiting for me. So I brought it all the way to Europe with me. I was very privileged to have found it. We're going to talk a little bit about the symbolisms of her, but first I want to explain a little bit what the Quan Yin means. The Quan Yin is a revered figure in Buddhism, Taoism, and even some New Age spiritual practices. Her name means she who hears the cries of the world. That tells you everything you need to know about her heart. She's a Bodhisattva, an enlightened being who chooses to remain in the world out of compassion, to help others reach liberation. In Mahayana Buddhism, Quan Yin is believed to have postponed her own enlightenment to serve all sentient beings until every last soul is free from suffering. When I started connecting to the Quan Yin, like in my meditations, the message came to me that she is the head of the Karmic Council. She's one of the main ones in the Karmic Council. So she has a very, very high status, and she is very powerful and very merciful. I've also come to learn that she is like the version of Virgin Mary on that other part of the world. Like in the Western world, we connect with Virgin Mary and the angels, whereas in the Eastern world, it's the Quan Yin. But some claim that it's the same energy, which I believe based on my own meditations. Originally, Avalokiteshvara was depicted as male in Indian texts. Over time, particularly in China, this figure transformed into a female embodiment of mercy, possibly due to the feminine qualities of nurturing, listening, and tenderness. Those are all very feminine qualities. Don't you agree? Look at the Quan Yin. Look how feminine she is. Very round. She looks very nurturing, very tender. She's sitting on her lotus flower. In East Asia, you will see statues of her holding a vase of pure water. This is her symbol of pure water, the vase of pure water, symbolizing the nectar of compassion. That's what this vase represents. And also she holds a willow branch for healing. This is her willow branch. That's a symbolism of what she uses for healing. Do you all see it? This is a willow branch. She sits on a lotus flower, or sometimes she's also standing atop a dragon in the sea. I originally was looking for that. I wanted a Quan Yin riding her dragon. Never found one, but this is what I was meant to have, at least for now. These images tell the story of her infinite compassion and power. She is very powerful, very merciful, very feminine, very compassionate. So whether you view her as a goddess, a bodhisattva, or a divine archetype, Quan Yin represents unconditional love and radical empathy. One of the most beloved stories of Quan Yin comes from the Chinese legend of Princess Miao Shan. Miao Shan was a royal who wanted to dedicate her life to spiritual practice, but her father, the king, wanted her to marry. She was like, no, I don't want to get married. She refused. And her father punished her and even tried to kill her for not wanting to get married, for wanting to pursue a different path. So her dad wanted to kill her. And through her suffering, she remains kind and forgiving. That's a beautiful reminder for us to be kind and to forgive those who harm us. How often do we entertain thoughts of revenge or of resentment or thoughts of hatred even? Is it worth it? Every time you find yourself entertaining a thought that's not positive, I invite you to connect to the energy of Quan Yin and ask her to help you feel compassion, feel kindness, feel forgiveness for that person who you think has harmed you. Going back to the story, the Quan Yin eventually reached enlightenment and became Quan Yin, the Bodhisattva of Compassion. In one version, she sacrifices her eyes and arms to save her father's life. That's the very first story that I heard when I heard about the Quan Yin. That was the version that I heard, when she sacrificed her eyes and her arms to save her father's life, only to be transformed with 1,000 arms and eyes so she could help more beings at once. Kind of like being omnipresent, right? Being everywhere, being able to reach everyone, being able to see everything, being able to help many souls at a time. How beautiful is this story? Her father who tried to kill her because she refused to get married, because she wanted to pursue a spiritual practice. She wanted to dedicate her life to a spiritual practice. And her dad was like, no, you are getting married. She refused. And her father tried to kill her. And she, instead of getting angry or resentful, she saved her father's life. Talk about kindness. Talk about compassion. Talk about forgiveness. This is a prime example, and I love it so much. So when we think of that version of her getting like 1,000 arms and eyes, that's where the image of the 1,000-armed Quan Yin comes from. Symbolizing her ability to reach out in all directions to help everyone at once. She's not just gentle, she's powerful, limitless, and fierce when needed. Yeah, she looks kind and tender. She's also very powerful. As soon as I brought her to my home, and put her on my altar. I mean, I already had Virgin Mary on my altar. I have a strong connection with Mother Mary. But Quan Yin had been calling me for months and months until I went to China. And I brought her, I put her on my altar, and I instantly felt how the energy shifted. There was definitely an energy in my house after I invited the energy of Quan Yin. I mean, you don't have to go to China to get a statue. You can connect to her energy from the comfort of your own home. You can recite mantras, you can meditate with her, just simply invite her into your life, into your space, into your home. And allow her to guide you and allow her to be a master companion that is going to help you forgive. If you feel that you need to forgive someone, if you feel like there's a lack of kindness and compassion in your heart, I invite you to connect to the Quan Yin and say, please help me. Help me connect to the compassion in you, to the kindness. And you will be surprised. You will start feeling more peace in your mind, in your heart, in your life. We all want peace, right? No one wants to be feeling anxious and depressed and distressed. We all want to have a life where we are just at peace. We are here to be peaceful beings and lead a happy life. We are not here to be living in conflict, to be living in unforgiveness, to be living in revenge and hatred and resentment. No, we human beings are wired to live happy lives. But sometimes there are so many external things that bombard us, especially if you watch TV, especially if you're constantly watching the news. I invite you, at least for one day, to detox from that. Don't watch the news. Don't feed on negativity. Don't read the newspaper or the journal where they are all showing all these horrible things that are happening in the world. Try to detach from that for one day. Do an experiment and see how you feel in your own world. See how much more peaceful you feel. Don't ruminate on thoughts from the past. Don't dwell on what others did to you. Connect to the present moment, breathe, and ask the Quan Yin to help you heal, to help you forgive, to help you come back to your essence, to help you reconnect to who you really are and to the love in you. Because in reality, that's all you are. At the end of the day, nothing else matters. All that matters is how much you loved and who you are, who you came here to be, and that's your essence. You as a human being, you're a loving being. You're not a resentful being. You're not an envious being. You're not a being to want to take revenge. That's the mind trying to convince you that, oh, you need to take revenge because someone did something to you. I invite you to allow the ascended masters, in this case, the Quan Yin, to help you. To take control. You release control. You forgive. You don't feed on resentment in your heart. You don't poison your heart with unforgiveness, with vengeance, with hatred. No, you observe. Okay, something happened interesting. What does that do to me? What does it mean? What is this teaching me? Okay. And please, Quan Yin, help me get rid of this heavy burden. It might have been something that happened 30 years ago when you were very little. This is not to justify what toxic people might have done to us, but it's about understanding. I'm a firm believer that with understanding comes forgiveness. When we can put ourselves in the other person's shoes and we realize why they did what they did to us, why they behaved the way they did, why they acted in a certain way, we can comprehend where they were coming from. And then we can release, because very often it has nothing to do with you. Very often it's their own fears, their own tribulations, their own pain that gets projected onto others. That got projected into you, for example. Say your parents, for example. Say your dad used to hit you when you were little. I'm not saying it's okay, but maybe his dad did the same to him. And his grandpa did the same to his dad. Till it goes back. And it's just patterns that get repeated. There's no one else to blame. So we can break the chain of violence. It's an invitation. Try it for yourself. Meditate. And for that, I want to take a moment first to really understand the symbolism of Quan Yin. Like I said, the willow branch is for healing and adaptability. Right here. Then we have the water base, which is for pouring compassion and wisdom into the world. Say she's up there observing, watching all human beings. So with her water base, she pours compassion. She pours wisdom into the world. Wisdom is so important in life. The white robes that she wears signify purity and spiritual awakening. See? Look how beautiful her robe is. The lotus flower on which she sits, it means she's rising above suffering and maintaining purity in a chaotic world. In case you're not aware, the lotus flower grows from the mud. If it wasn't for mud, there wouldn't be a lotus flower. It grows from the mud, from that chaotic, from the pain, from darkness. Beauty comes from that. So you too, from your pain, you can become like the lotus flower. If you hadn't gone through that hard, painful situation, you wouldn't see that part that's beautiful in you. The lotus flower can only exist because there was darkness, there was mud, there was coldness. And then the 1,000 arms, which we don't really see here, but we see in other images, represent the infinite ways to serve and protect, like we just talked about, right? She is here. She's so compassionate. She's so willing to help humanity that she wants to be of service to everyone. She wants to have all these eyes and all these arms to be everywhere at once to help as many souls as possible. And why not you? Why not open the door and invite her into your life? At least temporarily, and see if you really connect to her energy. You won't regret trying it. I mean, she appeared to me in my meditations, in my dreams, in solitude, in silence. It's in silence where I get most of my messages, most of my ideas. It's when I am alone in silence that I start connecting to the divine, to the spiritual world, that I remember the wisdom in me. But we need to have that silence. We need to have that solitude. We need to make room to be on our own in silence every day. I used to be terrified of silence. I always had to have music, background music at home. whether I was doing the dishes or reading, or it didn't matter. All day long, I had to have some sort of noise, music, melodies, something. I couldn't be in silence. It terrified me. I was so scared of silence. And I had to work on that in myself. There is no danger in silence. There is a lot of power in silence. But I had to work on that because I had, I was just very, I had some trauma when it came to like silence. It just scared me. And it goes back to childhood. We will get into those details in a different video. Here, I want to stay focused. I want to keep talking about the Quan Yin. So now that we have talked about her symbols and what her items represent, we can move on to like a sort of meditation that we can do. Just to mention, you can also find the Quan Yin associated with the moon. The moon is that feminine energy. And also the moon, in my opinion, based on my experience, the moon is the same energy as Mother Mary, as Virgin Mary, and Quan Yin. Because like I said, Mother Mary and Quan Yin, they're basically the same energy. They just appear differently to people in different parts of the world, to be able to relate to people. If I have never heard of Buddha, for example, I'm not going to relate to Buddha. It's not going to mean anything to me. But to a Buddhist friend, for him, he's like, yeah, Buddha, of course. In my case, it's Jesus, for example. I have a very strong connection with Jesus. And for me, if someone talks about Jesus, I relate really well. I know exactly what it means because he is one of my main ascended masters, one of my main guides. The Quan Yin is associated with the moon, with the ocean, and with the color white or pale blue. So kind, so beautiful, so feminine, so tender. Look how beautiful she is. Very motherly, right? Very matriarchal. And we are moving on, this new era, we're moving on into a matriarchal society. The past 2,000 years have been very patriarchal, right? Too much masculine running the show. Now it's the feminine starting to take more room, starting to take, not to take over, but we are starting to wake up. Our sacred feminine, our divine feminine cannot be all too masculine in the world. We need that balance, the feminine and the masculine. So the Quan Yin is very powerful. She's limitless. She's fierce. Yet she remains tender and kind and compassionate and beautiful and feminine. It's possible to do both. The more ingrained we are in our masculine, the more safe our feminine will be. We all have masculine and feminine energies in ourselves. But we need to keep them balanced. We can't have too much masculine or too much feminine. No, it's about having that balance. So what are some ways that you can connect to the Quan Yin? I will say, to be practical, I like soft meditations. I like lighting a candle. I like burning some incense. You can put some water on your altar or sit by the water if you have a lake nearby or if you live by the ocean. Or just have some water with you. I have here some water with me when I meditate. And then you can journal. Create a safe space where it's quiet. Set up an altar with a Quan Yin image or a statue. You can print a Quan Yin image for free from the internet. You can have candles. You can put flowers. You can put water, incense. Keep it simple. You don't need to like spend a lot of money, or you don't need to go like to China or to the Tibet. No, that was me because I was on a spiritual journey where I wanted to go to the Taoist temples and I was meditating. That's something separate, but that's where I got my Quan Yin. And I was there like wanting to connect to the dragons. I was born the year of the dragon, and last year was the year of the dragon. So life made it that one of my trips got canceled and I had to go to China. It's not like I planned it or anything. Life basically took me there. Yeah, and I understood exactly why. I was there for the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is very huge in China. And I didn't know that at the time. It was very, very meaningful, very powerful, very insightful. Definitely very insightful, very meaningful. It was a gift that life gave me. And I want to share a little bit of that experience with you today here. This is why I'm making this video, so that you can connect to the Quan Yin if you have never heard of her before. Light a candle, soft pink candle, white candle. I have my japa mala here. One of my japa malas is it's very pink. It's rose quartz, which in my opinion is very, very feminine. Rose quartz, love, self-love. You see here? So once you have your altar, visit it regularly if you can. Make at least 5 minutes a day when you start your day, when you wake up. It doesn't have to be the Quan Yin. It can be Jesus. It can be Mother Mary. It can be Krishna. It can be the elements. It can be the fire, the ocean. I believe everything is intertwined. Everything is connected. We are part of everything. Inside of us, we have fire. We have water. We have earth. We have air. We're connected to everything, to the elements. But I really love connecting to the Ascended Masters. The Quan Yin, for example. Jesus Christ. Saint Germain. I will make another video about Saint Germain soon. He's another one of my guides. So when it comes to the Quan Yin, you can chant her mantra. I made another video on the mantra of Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of compassion. You can look it up in my channel. It's the mantra of compassion. Also, I connected a lot with it when I was in China. It's one of Quan Yin's most powerful mantras, Om Mani Padme Hum. That's a mantra of compassion. And you can use a japa mala to chant it. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Recite it slowly, letting each syllable flow with your breath. And you can also do a silent meditation. You can visualize the Quan Yin standing beside you or radiating light from your heart. You can visualize her radiating light from your heart. Feel her presence and breathe in her compassion. And also practice compassion in action. Quan Yin is not just about meditation. She's about living compassion. Do small acts of kindness each day. For example, when you're having a conversation with somebody, listen without interrupting. If you have a tendency to interrupt someone when they talk, observe yourself and say, okay, I'm gonna try to not interrupt. That's a way to show compassion, little by little, baby steps. You can also help someone without expecting anything in return, or forgiving even when it's hard. And you can journal, write to the Quan Yin, or you can pray, journal or pray. Write a letter to the Quan Yin. Ask for guidance, ask her for healing, ask her for clarity. Let your writing be a sacred conversation. I love writing, I love journaling. I feel that it's a way for my subconscious to give me insight, give me inspiration, give me messages. I'm a completely different person when I write. Everybody tells me that when I write, I sound like a very different person. I was very reserved when I was little. Like, I couldn't talk. I never talked. I started talking when I was 12. I mean, I was biologically able to talk. Physically, I only spoke to my younger siblings, but like I never talked, like I never played with the other kids. I never talked. The only people I spoke with was like at home with my siblings. And outside of that, no one. Like I became mute. If it's just who I was until I turned 12 years old, that's when I started talking. It might come from a past life. It may be because I had just a very traumatic childhood, or it may be that I was just different. And that's okay. But here I am talking to you, and that's fine. But it's really when I write that I feel that that's my voice, that's who I am, that's really my soul expressing when I write. That's me, and I invite you to write. It's like a prayer. Make your journaling, you're writing a prayer. Write a letter to the Quan Yin. Begin with, I don't know you. I would like to know you. I just heard about you. And you will be surprised how she will start appearing in your life. Because if you are watching this video, it's no coincidence. She is manifesting herself to you because she wants to be a part of your life. I remember when I flew from Beijing to Amsterdam. When I came back to Europe, I flew into Amsterdam first before coming to France. I had a layover in Amsterdam, and of course I had to go through customs. And she was really wrapped. She was so wrapped because I didn't want to break it. So back in China, they had like wrapped it so well so it wouldn't break. And I was very disappointed. Why are they opening my Quan Yin? I don't want her to break. I have to take another flight. But the officer at the airport said, well, we have to do it. Because obviously we all know for safety reasons, and we know some certain things cannot come into Europe. So they checked and everything was fine. There was nothing like forbidden in this statue, like no forbidden painting or anything. But while I was talking to the officer, he was very intrigued. Oh, I've never heard of her before. So what does she do? Where did she come from? Oh, okay. And then I shared while he was like checking everything. I shared with him some information. He was really young. And I said, oh, like she's the goddess of compassion, and you can meditate, and this is a mantra. I remember he had like a tattoo, and we talked about his tattoo. He had like a rose. And I said, just like the rose is the flower of Mother Mary, the lotus flower is the flower that the Quan Yin chose. And we talked, and that's when he told me, oh, well, I learned something new today. And that's when I realized, oh yeah, I was mad at the moment when he started like unwrapping my Quan Yin. But then I realized very quickly that no, it was the way that Quan Yin wanted to appear in his life, wanted to manifest herself to him so that he knew, so that he learned about her. How magical is that? So when we observe instead of reacting, when certain situations happen in our daily life, and instead of reacting, why is this happening? We observe and we see that there's more depth, that there's a reason behind everything that's happening that we may not always be aware of because we don't have like a higher perspective. We don't see the whole picture, right? And then we observe and we see, it all makes sense now. I was a vessel. And then I felt honored. I'm like, oh, thank you. I feel honored. And I feel very honored here today sharing this with you now. So thank you for letting me tell you about the Quan Yin. It wasn't much, but I hope it contributes something to your life. So you can also repeat a prayer. Beloved Quan Yin, may your compassion guide me. Help me to forgive, to love you, and to be of service to those in need. And then you can be a walking vessel. You can be an instrument of compassion in your daily life, at work, in your community, in your church, at home, at the park. Doesn't matter where you go. Choose to be a vessel of kindness. Quan Yin teaches us that even in our darkest hour, there's always space for mercy. She reminds us that gentleness is a strength. Yes, being gentle, it doesn't mean that you are weak. On the contrary, being gentle is a sign of strength. Because often people think, oh, like in my case, for example, I speak from experience. People will say, oh, because I was like very kind when I was younger, I had like no boundaries, and like people will like do things to me and I will forgive them, and they thought I was weak. But no, that was a sign of strength. I see it now. Of course, now I set boundaries. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. But remember, gentleness is a strength. And our wounds can be portals to compassion. Don't take your wounds for granted. Use them as portals for compassion, not only for others, but also for yourself. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling unheard or burdened, call on her, call on the Quan Yin. She hears the cries of the world, including yours. You are not separate from others. You also have the privilege to connect to her and help her ease your suffering. Help her ease your anxiety, your depression. Don't let your mind take over. Your mind can be a great friend, but it can also be one of your enemies. If you let it. It depends on how you use it, right? Thank you so much for spending time with me, with Quan Yin, and with Nuga Cosmico. If you found this episode helpful, give it a like. Subscribe. And let me know in the comments how you connect with Quan Yin or what you like to explore next. I have so many ideas on the things that I want to share, but today I woke up and the Quan Yin was like, okay, it's time to talk about me. Not from an egotistic way. Not in an egotistic way, because they're not like us, like human beings. Hey, now me, what about me? No. But it's mainly because she wants to be of help to you. And I'm very honored to be able to provide this information to you in case you have never heard of the Quan Yin. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to send it to those who might benefit from this content. And Nuga Cosmico and I are going to go for a walk now. It's time. Yes, it's time. And we will be back with more tools to help you connect to your inner world, to the universe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon.